Welcome to Trending Update USA. This is Stefan and I am glad you are with us today as we dive into one of the most heated debates shaking the tennis world right now, a debate that has fans fired up, social media buzzing, and a respected former player facing intense backlash over her words about one of America's brightest stars, Coco Gauff. The phrase spreading like wildfire online says it all. This woman really hates Coco Gauff. That is what countless fans are saying as they lash out at Rennae Stubbs for what many are calling a weird, unfair, and overly negative take on Coco Gauff's Grand Slam future. What started as a routine tennis discussion quickly turned into a full-blown controversy, revealing just how fiercely protective fans are of Gauff and how high expectations have become for the young American superstar. Coco Gauff is not just another top player on the WTA Tour. She is a global name, a Grand Slam champion, a face of American tennis, and for many fans, the future of the sport itself. Since bursting onto the scene as a teenager, she has carried pressure that few athletes ever experience. Every win is celebrated, every loss dissected, and every comment from analysts and former players is magnified. So when Rennae Stubbs questioned aspects of Gauff's slam future, the reaction was immediate and explosive. Stubbs, a former doubles world number one and a longtime tennis commentator, has never been shy about sharing strong opinions. She is known for blunt analysis and tough love commentary. But this time, many fans feel she crossed the line. During a recent discussion about Coco Gauff's long-term Grand Slam prospects, Stubbs suggested that despite Gauff's talent, athleticism, and mental strength, there are still serious question marks about how many slams she can realistically win in her career. She pointed to technical issues, inconsistency in certain matches, and the rapidly rising level of competition on the WTA Tour. On paper, this might sound like standard tennis analysis. After all, the women's game is stacked with talent, from Aryna Sabalenka's power to Iga Swiatek's dominance on clay and beyond. But fans didn't hear balanced analysis. They heard doubt. They heard dismissal. And many felt that Stubbs' tone toward Gauff was far harsher than what she uses for other top players. Social media erupted almost instantly. Fans flooded platforms with angry reactions, accusing Stubbs of having a personal bias against Coco Gauff. Some went as far as saying Stubbs never gives Gauff credit even when she wins, and is always quick to highlight flaws when she loses. The phrase, "weird take," became a rallying cry, with fans questioning why Gauff's future was being framed with skepticism when her resume at such a young age already surpasses that of many legends at the same stage. Coco Gauff, after all, has already achieved what countless players only dream of. She has won a Grand Slam singles title, captured multiple WTA titles, reached deep stages of majors consistently, and established herself as a top 5 force in women's tennis. She has done all this while balancing fame, expectations, and the mental burden of being labeled the future, since she was barely a teenager. For fans, hearing doubts about her slam future feels not just unfair, but disrespectful. What seems to frustrate fans the most is the comparison factor. Many argue that when other players struggle, analysts are quick to point to development, learning curves, and growth. When Coco Gauff struggles, the conversation often turns into questions about ceilings and limitations. Fans ask why a player who is still so young is already being boxed into a narrative of, "maybe she won't win that many slams," while others are given endless benefit of the doubt. Some fans also point out that Rennae Stubbs has previously clashed with Gauff supporters over comments about her game style and on-court decisions. This history has fueled the perception that Stubbs has a long-standing issue with Gauff, whether intentional or not. As one viral post put it, "It's like no matter what Coco does, it's never enough for her." On the other side of the debate, there are those who defend Stubbs. They argue that honest analysis should not be mistaken for hatred. Tennis, they say, is not about hype but about results, adaptability, and evolution. They point out that questioning a player's long-term slam count is not an attack, but a reflection of how brutally competitive modern women's tennis has become. Winning one slam is incredibly difficult. Winning multiple, across surfaces and seasons, is even harder. Supporters of Stubbs also argue that Coco Gauff herself has said she welcomes criticism and uses it as motivation. They believe shielding young stars from tough conversations does them no favors in the long run. From this perspective, Stubbs' comments were not personal, but professional, rooted in her experience at the highest level of the sport. Still, perception matters, especially in the age of social media. Tone matters. Context matters. And in this case, fans overwhelmingly felt that the tone was off. The backlash grew so loud that it became a trending topic, with fans dissecting not just this one comment, but a pattern they believe shows unfair treatment of the American star. What makes this situation even more fascinating is how it highlights the emotional connection fans have with Coco Gauff. She represents more than just tennis success. For many, she symbolizes a new generation of athletes who are outspoken, socially aware, and unafraid to be themselves. Fans feel invested in her journey, her growth, and her legacy. Any perceived attack on her future feels personal to them. Coco Gauff herself has remained silent on the controversy, choosing, as she often does, to let her tennis do the talking. That silence has only increased respect among her supporters, who see her focus and maturity as proof that she is built for long-term success. They argue that while commentators debate her ceiling, she continues to put in the work, improve her game, and deliver results on the biggest stages. The broader question at the heart of this debate is one that tennis has always wrestled with. How do we talk about young stars? When does analysis turn into unfair pressure? And why are some players given patience while others are judged more harshly? Coco Gauff's career is still being written, yet every chapter is scrutinized as if the ending should already be clear. Fans also point out that women's tennis, more than any other sport, has a history of unpredictability. Dominance is rare. Era-defining champions are the exception, not the rule. Expecting any player, no matter how talented, to rack up double-digit Grand Slam titles may be unrealistic in today's landscape. But questioning whether a player like Gauff can win more than 1 or 2 slams feels premature to many, especially given her age and trajectory. The backlash against Rennae Stubbs is also a reminder of how the role of commentators has evolved. In the past, strong opinions were delivered on television and quickly forgotten. Today, every comment lives forever online, replayed, clipped, and debated endlessly. Analysts are no longer just talking to viewers. They are engaging with a global audience that responds in real time, often emotionally. This moment may ultimately serve as a learning experience for everyone involved. For commentators, it is a reminder of the power of words and the importance of balance. For fans, it highlights how deeply personal sports debates can become. And for Coco Gauff, it is yet another example of the spotlight she lives under, where even discussions about her future become headline news. As the dust settles, one thing remains clear. Coco Gauff is central to the future of women's tennis, whether critics doubt her or not. Her talent, work ethic, and mental strength have already carried her to the top, and she has years ahead to define her legacy on her own terms. No commentary, positive or negative, will change that. The question of how many Grand Slams Coco Gauff will ultimately win cannot be answered today, tomorrow, or even in a few years. Tennis history is full of surprises, late bloomers, and unexpected champions. What can be said with certainty is that Coco Gauff has already beaten the odds time and time again, and counting her out has never been a wise move. For now, the fans have spoken loudly and clearly. They believe Coco Gauff deserves respect, patience, and belief, not doubt framed as destiny. Whether Rennae Stubbs intended to provoke or simply analyze, the reaction shows just how powerful Coco Gauff's presence has become in the sport. As Coco continues her journey, every match, every slam, and every milestone will add new chapters to this ongoing story. And one day, when her career is complete, debates like this will be revisited with the benefit of hindsight. Until then, the conversation will rage on, fueled by passion, loyalty, and the unwavering belief that Coco Gauff's best days are still ahead. That is all for this edition of Trending Update USA. I am Stefan, and as always, thank you for staying with us for the stories shaping the world of sports right now.